All right, everyone. Michigan is about to embark upon a great adventure to prove to everyone once again that government is so piss poor at managing things, it can't even successfully sell marijuana. Um, Michigan, case in point, 24% new tax to be levied between production and distribution at dispensaries, of course, in the state of Michigan that are selling marijuana. This will raise the cost, obviously, and therefore people are more likely to seek weed that's not from the dispensary, which, by the way, doesn't really help with the fentanyl problem because, the dude that's selling for half price in the alleyway, good luck. You're going to have to do quality control, but you can't do it unless you have your own home laboratory to test the weed or something like that, in which case you can probably afford the dispensary prices anyway. California has this problem. A lot of the weed growers and so forth fairly quickly dry it up because California is going to tax it, make it more expensive, and you can't really compete with people that are capable of selling it for 50% of what the overhyped government price is going to be. Also, a lot of people grow their own weed, and I believe that's still illegal in the state of Michigan. So there's not necessarily that workaround, but I mean, come on. This is cannabis. It's been big in demand for thousands of years. It's not going anywhere. It's called weed for a reason because it's literally a fucking weed. You can't eradicate it. It would be physically impossible. It's also native in certain parts of the world. And anyway, even if you made it an extinct species, then people would just make synthetics, which are far more harmful. Weed is a, as they call it, less harmful drug. Yeah, you're still getting tar in your lungs and cough, cough, wheeze, wheeze, and stuff like that. It is still going to affect your ability to drive or something like that potentially. But, I mean, is it really a scourge? Tobacco's legal. Alcohol's legal. Fentanyl overdoses are all over the place now. Uh, Michigan is going to manage to take something that you shouldn't be able to lose money on. Like if I were to grow weed, like if I had a little pot farm out somewhere, it would be structurally impossible because of the massive return that you get on those plants. It's the ultimate cash crop. It shouldn't even be possible to go out of business or lose money on a transaction or anything. And that's accounting for the fact that some plants may fail. Some may not do particularly well. Maybe there was a prolonged drought. They didn't produce as much as they were supposed to. Your buds were small. You'd still be able to make a significant amount of money per plant with relatively low input and effort. It's a relatively streamlined process. It's a fucking plant, stick the seedling in the ground, wah wah, fertilizer, chemical, natural, otherwise, who gives a shit? And you're good to go. You just got to have the good location, decent soil, and basically know how to grow a plant, a fucking plant. Michigan, I predict, will end up losing a bunch of money. They're trying to use the taxes to, in Whitmer's words, fix the damn roads. So in order to fix the shitty roads up in Michigan, they have to resort to destroying the weed industry up there, which is probably what's going to happen. Again, we've seen this in several other states already. Well, we'll legalize it. You can smoke it, but you can only get it from a dispensary. And you can grow it, but only for the dispensaries. See, here in Vermont, we have a different system. There is the weed industry and dispensaries and all of this sort of thing. And you've got the quality control and the checks and everything else that, somebody wants to smoke pot, but they don't want to take a chance buying it off the street. And maybe they don't have that green friend that they can turn to in their time of weed need. But you can also grow plants for your own consumption. It's two adult plants per human adult in the household. So if you had like a family of four, you could grow 8 plants. This is legal. Anything more than that, you need a permit. But seriously, the average person with two fully developed adult weed plants, they're going to be able to smoke that off for a very, very long time. Again, with virtually no actual output other than digging a couple of holes and, you put some black plastic wrap or something like that, or how to mulch them, to cut down on the maintenance costs. It's always a good idea. And ta-da! Okay, and you've got your weed, any kind that you happen to want and be able to get at by a local grower, because their strains they change over time. If it's wildly popular, they're obviously going to have more of them available, and if they're less popular, maybe they get phased out. Sort of depends. And there's plenty of weedness going on all over the country. Not a big problem. And I have always opposed the idea of taxing it at all. I don't think that we need that sort of system. Let people grow their own or buy it from a friend, or they can get it from a dispensary. And we don't need to subsidize the dispensary process either. Again, only government getting involved can possibly make something like marijuana unprofitable. It should, again, be fundamentally impossible for it not to make you money or supply, enough weed for you yourself to smoke. Considering the amount of bud you can get off of one plant, how much are you fucking smoking? At some point, maybe you need to ask yourself if you need to calm down a little bit. Oh yeah, I'm up to a quarter ounce a day. I just smoked 10 pounds of weed or, stuff like that. People it'll do stupid. I mean, if it's like college kids and they're just greening themselves out on a dare or something, whatever. Take it a little bit lighter on the weed though, everyone. Michigan is going to ruin marijuana, and it'll be funny. It'll be amusing, honestly, because government is uniquely the only edifice that could possibly make that happen. The government can lose money on virtually everything, then because they don't care. They're not using their own money or anything. They're just going to take more taxes, and on the weed and try to repair the roads. But you're going to knock some of these people entirely out of business because sales will decline because people are going to buy it from their friends. Or they'll surreptitiously grow a plant for themselves anyway in their basement, and there's not a whole lot the government can really do about that sort of thing. It's sort of like if they tried banning alcohol. Look how well that worked out. Yeah, speakeasies were never really a thing. By the way, Speakeasy Cafe here in Rutland, Vermont, really good stuff. Really, really funny, and doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to allow the government to fiddle around with the weed market. It's like, hey, it destroyed everything else it touched. Every other industry that it got involved with made it less efficient, more expensive, and more time-consuming about everything, and bloated just like bureaucracy tends to be. But this time, no, this time they'll succeed. Ignore the historical precedent of other states that have tried this particular style of system. That's about all. Peace out.